The Path of Kriya Yoga, Video 3. What did Paramahansa Yogananda teach? Throughout the centuries, there have been a handful of Indian sages and swamis who have managed to travel westward and to share the teachings from ancient India. In 1893, Swami Vivekananda went to Boston to deliver a talk to the Parliament of World Religions. In 1920, Paramahansa Yogananda went to deliver a talk at the Parliament of World Religions in Boston, USA, and he spoke about the science of religion. But before setting out for the US, Paramahansa Yogananda was advised by his master, Sri Yukteswar, to teach the people in the West the Kriya Yoga of Patanjali. Now, some people will refer to the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali as being a book about Kriya Yoga. But if we look specifically, the second book of the 4 books of the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali is titled Sadhanapada, which outlines the practices for the practitioner to adhere to in order to experience self-realization. And the first verse of this book describes Kriya Yoga. It says, Kriya Yoga is the path of self-discipline, self-study, and surrender to absolute reality, or if you prefer, surrender to God. Now, when we look at this threefold path, we can compare it to the yoga which was shared by Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. The path of self-discipline. This can be compared to endeavoring to experience oneness through our actions, karma yoga. Then self-study. This can be compared to endeavoring to experience oneness through self-inquiry and contemplative meditation. This is jnana yoga. And then the path of surrender to absolute reality. This can be compared to bhakti yoga, which is oneness through devotion. So we can see in this verse how Patanjali has brought together the 3 means for experiencing yoga as being equally important in our experiencing oneness consciousness. And so this is referred to as Raja Yoga, the royal yoga as expounded in the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. Now, any group or any individual that is adhering to this threefold path is essentially adhering to Kriya Yoga. What makes this tradition of Kriya Yoga different, the Kriya Yoga of Lahiri Mahasaya, is that he revived ancient tantric meditation practices and he incorporated them into the sadhana, into the disciplined spiritual practices. So while we have the threefold path of self-discipline, self-study, and surrender to God, we can use these ancient techniques within our formal meditation practices as a means to purifying our mind-body system and to experiencing the self with greater speed. So if we're just going to look at the threefold path of self-discipline, self-study, and surrender to absolute reality. When we talk about self-discipline, this applies to how we live our lives, how we organize, how we engage with the world, so as to ensure that we are supporting our experiencing clarified awareness, and so we're supporting our realization of the self. The second step, the second aspect of self-study, while this may include our reflecting on our small sense of self, our personality type and our habits and our ways of being, really what it's talking about is study of the self with a capital S, the inner self, the true self. And this can be done through introspection and contemplative meditation, inquiring into who am I or what am I, what's my essence, what's my source. And in this way we can transcend ego identification and experience the true self. And then the third part, surrender to absolute reality. Well, this is being able to maintain a state of clarified awareness through all of our waking moments, all of our moments indeed, so that we are allowing for the expression of absolute reality to be communicated or to be expressed through this mind-body system without any kind of distortion or fragmentation. And so this threefold path is the foundation of Kriya Yoga practice. And the formal meditation practices which are shared as part of the Kriya Yoga tradition are only as good as we are able to ensure that this foundation is well grounded and stable.